welcome to this video series that we're doing with Cosmos Hub, and thank you for taking out your time, out of Cosmos 2024. I think to begin with, if you can give us a quick introduction about you, what are you working on and what's your role right now?
Sure. So my name's Carter Woetzel. I'm on the strategic committee for the Atom Accelerator DAO, helping them allocate resources and make sure that the grant money that we disperse out is used to effectively advance Atom. I'm also the founder of Shade Protocol, which is a privacy-preserving DeFi suite on Secret Network, and I'm also a MakerDAO contributor. So I wear a lot of hats, but Cosmos Hub has a special place in my heart as the OG blockchain of the interchain.
I think to begin with, how did you come across Cosmos ecosystem? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I had a cousin in traditional finance that linked me a bunch of resources about blockchain and crypto, and he also linked me stuff about the Cosmos Hub. So this would have been in 2020. So I started watching YouTube clips very early on. I saw clips of Jaquan, Ethan Buckman, and even Sunny in some of those days too. So fell down that rabbit hole. I also found out about Secret Network as well, because in crypto there's no privacy anywhere, and I'm a big privacy maxi. So got into Secret Network, and from there also bought Atom, staked Atom, was a big fan of all the airdrops that came along the way, and then started to contribute on the forums. Kind of post Atom 2.0 is actually where I became more of an active community member, because I had been watching it for so long, and I finally realized as a community member I can jump in, I can start I can try to help direct the Cosmos Hub. Even if I wasn't there in the beginning, even though I wasn't a founding member, I still have value that I can provide. And I think that's the beauty of Cosmos, is it doesn't matter who you are. If you have great ideas and you're willing to contribute, it's a home. It's a home for all in that sense.
So can you walk us through working with Atom Accelerator DAO? What do you do, and how is it sort of contributing to building Cosmos Hub?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my key roles at Atom Accelerator was actually with the hiring process. So I helped hire roughly 4 people. So, it's because of the Cosmos Hub, it's super popular, right? So when you put up a job role for marketing lead, you get 200 applications. So I'm in there helping review all the different applications, getting dozens of interviews set up, narrowing in on a candidate, because we want the best possible contributors to push the hub forward. So hiring is a really big one. Another one is overhauling the grants process itself. So we receive hundreds of inbound grants, and we have to have a criteria by which we approach and rate them. So going into 2024, I kind of reviewed the entire system and figured out a way to essentially raise the bar, have a higher standard for grants, because in 2023, we gave away a lot of money to projects that didn't have direct value accrual back to Atom. So we updated the criteria, made it more harsh. So that's another way I contribute, is just the whole designing the system of the inbound grants. And then we have something called RFPs, which is a request for proposal. And this is essentially where we hunt down protocols or projects to get them to come and build on the hub. So an example is DAO. We wanted better governance, DAO governance for the Cosmos Hub, because our tooling is very lacking. So I was able to write up an RFP, hunt down the team, negotiate with them, close on the deal, and also go through the process of getting DAO deployed on the hub through governance. So RFPs is another one. And then finally, the last one I'll mention is the strategy committee. We're always thinking about the Cosmos Hub roadmap, and how can we modify how we allocate resources to best push forward the Cosmos Hub's roadmap.
In the coming, say, 6 to 12 months, what do you think is something building in Cosmos that cosmonauts should look out for?
Okay, so I'm a really big fan of Union. So I think their bridging solution is going to be super interesting. They're a newer team, and they're coming into the bridging game a little bit late, but I think their technology is awesome. And then I think another one is Ellis Protocol. We announced that the Cosmos Hub through AADAO wrote a venture check into them. So they have Atom as gas. They're going to be a whole DeFi suite that's very Atom centered. So definitely check them out. And then Drop Protocol 2 on Neutron is a kind of Lido affiliated LST. And I'm just excited to see more LST competition. And we obviously we're a huge fan of Stride, but it's good to have other LST players in the game too.
So you mentioned that you have like explored multiple ecosystems, like blockchain ecosystems as well. What do you think makes like Cosmos unique compared to them?
Yeah, so obviously through my role at MakerDAO, I get to spend a lot of time in like Base, Optimism, Arbitrum ecosystems. And I would say the biggest difference from Cosmos to all these other ecosystems is governance, right? People say like, oh, Cosmos Hub's governance, it's inefficient, a lot of energy wasted, but the fact that we can have hundreds of thousands of people from around the world that have never met each other before, and we can all collectively govern a protocol with like, it's a $45 million community pool, it's a multi-billion-dollar blockchain, and it's like its own sovereign digital nation that we can all contribute and partake in. Things like Base and Ethereum, they try to be neutral. They don't want any sort of like people governing resources tied to the L1, right? They have their foundations, they have their closed rooms. And Cosmos, like, yes, there's different organizations that contribute and not everything's fully transparent, but it's way, way, way more transparent than these other ecosystems. And I'm saying that from experience. So I think governance is Cosmos' superpower. I think we should be leaning into human organizations on-chain directing resources. If we can like crack that code, I think we have like a super bright future compared to ecosystems that are all of the wealth and value is concentrated in like a foundation here or a development team here, versus like the hub can have multiple different sub-DAOs with community contributors with total transparency, and we can like effectively govern those resources.
You know that interchain security is like really building momentum. We have like a chain that's like mid-adoption right away. What do you think like in the coming years ICS could do in terms of building cross-chain collaboration? You know?
So when I think about interchain security, what's accomplished by interchain security? The biggest thing is that a new blockchain wants to bootstrap security, and they don't want to spend a lot of money on that security, right? So the Cosmos Hub, we're able to rent out our security, and the places we rent it out to, they're able to spend way less money on inflation but still have really strong economic security, right? That demand is going to continue to exist, and if the internet of blockchain, right now there's 100 Cosmos chains, if that 10x's to 1,000 chains and then 10x's to 100,000 chains, like the hub has an opportunity to secure and like really, really awesome new blockchains that are bootstrapped. So I'm very excited about partial set security. I think business development wise, we need to do a better job like explaining to these new ecosystems why you should be using partial set security. And then if you compare it to something like EigenLayer, who's also doing security, I think the hub can win by providing more than just security. We can also provide venture, like Ellis protocol is a great example. Why become a PSS chain? You get security. Well, also the hub will like actually invest in you as an ecosystem, right? We're not just gonna treat you like a commodity or like some other run-of-the-mill project. It's like, no, like we're invested in your future. And then this is where Hydro can come in, is not only do you get venture, not only do you get security, we can also help bootstrap your ecosystem with Atom liquidity right out of the gates. Now it's a triple offering. So if you zoom out and think about it on a 10, 20 year horizon, we have a long ways to go with maturing the offering and maturing the business development, but I do think we have something truly special.
The Cosmos Hub Atom Accelerator team are also working on Hydro, which is sort of in this pre-launch stage, and there's a lot of moving pieces there, but it's gaining a lot of eyes also from other projects that can utilize this liquidity bidding governance mechanism of sorts. What are your thoughts on that? What makes you bullish about it?
So, prior to Hydro, the hub, other blockchains, they would come to the community pool, they would ask for this liquidity, and then it would sit on their platform, and the hub wouldn't really be getting any sort of revenue stream. We're renting out the liquidity, but we're not getting paid for renting out the liquidity, right? Some of the advantages of that is money markets. When there's enough liquidity, your lending and borrowing platforms and your perps can build on top of those spot market liquidity that we help bootstrap. But as more time has gone on, the hub really wanted to kind of realign its liquidity model where we're not just renting it out for free, but that we actually get something in return. And so that's what Hydro is. It's a liquidity platform where any protocol can come in and put up a bid that's going to get paid to the kind of like Atom community in return for putting liquidity on their platform. So it's a very early on experiment. There's a lot of legwork that has to be done. I give props to Informal for getting an MVP launched as soon as possible. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it ends up going.
A lot of folks mention that Cosmos has a marketing thing that it needs, like, on the marketing front, it really needs to like work better. Since you're working with not just like Atom Accelerator but other projects, and you're in this like Stratcom role, what do you think in particular that needs like working on?
I guess I would boil it down to 3 things. So one is we really need to have unified thought leadership. A lot of the Cosmos Hub original contributors have now gone on to other projects, right? They're not 100% like Cosmos Hub aligned, and it makes sense. Everyone's working on multiple projects, but I think it'd be really good for the Hub if we had one kind of standalone visionary leader that isn't working on multiple projects, right? I work on multiple projects. I'm not a good fit for this. I can be like an evangelist for the Hub, but we need someone to like really emerge that's just like a total Atom Maxi, and that can like pump out content and kind of be the CEO of Cosmos, right? Like we still are kind of missing that role to a degree, so that's one thing. I think marketing gets a really bad rap in Web3, and for a good reason. A lot of marketing spends are like really, really wasteful. They're not creative. They don't do a great job of like engaging with the community and kind of like hitting the mark, right? So I would say Cosmos Hub should invest more into marketing. Like, there's a $45 million community pool. I would say, you got to be spending, $5-10 million on marketing, especially in a bull market, right? And it's got to be with the right people to do that. Atom Accelerator, we've done marketing before, but I still think that there could be another sub-DAO that emerges that's like just focused on marketing, right? So marketing spend, thought leadership, and then third one I would say is kind of like the mimetic potential of the Cosmos Hub. We need to have fun again, right? Like it's 2 years of bear market, price go down, Atom's a $10 stable coin, yada, 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 right? But I think we gotta like kind of start to embrace, like kind of like this, like how bad can it get, right? We need to start embracing our identity of like, oh, like governance is painful, price is painful. We need to like own that and meme it and get the community kind of excited for the future.
We're gonna jump into this rapid fire question. What do you think would be a dream collab for Atom Accelerator DAO?
I would love for the Cosmos Hub to collaborate with Solana or Base ecosystem. So I'd love for like Atom liquidity to go beyond the Cosmos.
Your favorite tools, dApps, or platforms that are built on Cosmos?
I'm a big fan of Astroport and also Mars. I think Mars is like the best money market UX in crypto right now, and they do not get enough like applause for their hard work.
Can you define like interchain security in one word?
I'll define it in a couple. Give up a little bit of sovereignty and get a ton of security.
ICS, do you see it as a safety net or as a growth accelerator?
It depends on if the hub is offering more than just security. If we're providing liquidity and venture and security, then it's a launch pad. If it's just security, then I would say it's a safety net.
Name one challenge that is immediately facing Cosmos Hub.
Unity.
What's a growth metric that you like to track the progress of Cosmos Hub?
Atom liquidity throughout the entire interchain.
And your favorite interchain wallet?
I would say Kepler, still OG in my heart. I still like old school Kepler interface better than the new Kepler, that's just saying. But I have a special place in my heart for Leap because they do a great job with all the mobile stuff.
Atom, sell or compound?
Buy. For sure buy.
If you have to give a catchphrase for Cosmos, like to build on Cosmos Hub, what would it be?
Atom, the future is bright.
Got it. Okay, that's a wrap.
There you go.